Gioachino Greco. In this video, we are going to learn about Gioachino Greco, who beat all champions of England, France, Italy and Spain. Gioachino Greco 1600 to 1634 was an Italian chess player and writer. He recorded some of the earliest chess games known in their entirety. His games, which never indicated players, were quite possibly constructs, but served as examples of brilliant combinations. Greco was very likely the strongest player of his time, having played, and defeated, the best players of Rome, Paris, London, and Madrid. Greco's writing was in the form of manuscripts for his patrons, in which he outlined the rules of chess, gave playing advice, and presented instructive games. The name Greco is often assumed to be indicative of a Greek heritage. Indeed, Calabria, the region in which Greco was born, has a long history of Greek immigration and use of Greek as the vernacular. One prominent writer, Willard Fisk, even suggests that Greco was born in Moria, Greece, before moving to Calabria. Fisk gives no specific evidence for this claim. However, neither do other writers claiming that in this case Greco signified Greek. The origin of Greco is therefore largely speculative. Little is known about the life of Greco. The most reliable information about his life comes from his manuscripts. He was born around 1600 in Salico, Italy. Greco apparently showed an early aptitude for chess, leaving home uneducated and at a young age to make a living abroad. By 1620 Greco had become experienced enough to write his earliest dated manuscript, Trattato del Nobilissimo Gioco di Scacchi, copies of which were given to his patrons in Rome. Greco is said to have traveled to Paris, although this visit is conspicuously unattested by existing manuscripts. There he continued to find great success. His victories over the strongest French players, among them the Duc de Nemours M. Arnaud Le Carabin, and M. Chamon de la Salle, granted him both fame and riches. By 1622 Greco was traveling to England with a large sum of money. In Paris he had gained the equivalent of 5,000 crowns. Greco was apparently waylaid during this journey, however, resulting in the loss of his newfound wealth. Undeterred, he continued to London and played the English chess elite. During his stay in London, Greco began recording entire chess games rather than single instructive positions. As had been the usual manner, Greco returned to Paris in 1624 and began rewriting his collection of manuscripts. It is unclear whether he actually played these games. To modern eyes, his opponent's play seems dubious at best. The game's provenance is perhaps inessential. Having composed them, Greco was certainly capable of playing them on a board, not one to remain in one place for long. Greco left Paris for the court of Philip IV in Spain. Greco managed to defeat all his opponents there, as well. By this point Greco had shown himself to be the greatest player in Europe with victories over the champions of Rome, Paris, London, and Madrid. Having conquered the Old World, Greco traveled to the New. Greco is said to have succumbed to disease in the West Indies soon after arriving. The exact date of his death is unknown, but most sources have him dead by 1634. His chess earnings were given to the Jesuits.